Imagine coming back to your office from your lunch break and you see a large number of people gathered in and around the conference room. You wander over to see what the commotion is all about, and a coworker hollers, "Hey, you've got to see this!" You move with a little more speed and a bit of apprehension. Once you arrive, you can scarcely believe your eyes. Broadcast across the big screen TV is a bird's-eye view of a high school with FBI agents, police, and children running everywhere. There's been another school shooting. This is what it was like for the citizens of Littleton, Colorado on April 20th, 1999. This was also the reality for the community of Red Lake, Minnesota on March 21st, 2005, and again for the people of Newton, Connecticut on December 14th, 2012. Who's to say the next shooting won't be at your local school? I'd like to share with you the prevalence of violence in our schools. How can you be a part of the change that is needed, and then help you see the peace and growth that can come from that change? After the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting, President Obama asked the FBI to determine whether the number of such crimes was on the rise. The study showed the answer to be yes. The shootings that took place in an educational setting average out to be slightly more than 3 per year. Now I can hear people thinking, well, that doesn't sound like a very big number, and the odds are in my favor that it'll never be a situation I will have to face. Thankfully, it probably won't be. But what is happening in our schools, our local schools? Are they safe? According to Sheldon X. Zhang in the journal Justice Quarterly, most school violence still consists of fistfights between individual students, one student forcing another to give up lunch money, or a few bullies beating up a classmate in the bathroom. I'm about to share a lot of numbers with you, but the number I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind is the number of children you know personally. Those are the children I want you to think about when you hear these statistics. According to the CDC, or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, youth violence includes various behaviors. Some violent acts, such as bullying, pushing, and shoving, can cause more emotional harm than physical harm. Here are the findings from a 2013 study of youth in grades 9 through 12. 8.1% reported being in a physical fight on school property in the 12 months prior to the survey. 7.1% reported that they didn't go to school on 1 or more days in the 30 days before the survey because they felt unsafe at school or on their way to or from school. 6.9% reported being threatened or injured with a weapon on school property 1 or more times in the 12 months before the survey, and 19.6% reported being bullied on school property. Something to keep in mind is that these statistics are from children in high school. The CDC lists as one of the risk factors for engaging in violence is a prior history of violence. Now, my children have never been involved in a school shooting like the ones I mentioned before, but they have been involved in school violence. In grade school, my 2 oldest sons were threatened by a schoolmate who said, "I could kill you with my bare hands." I've also been the recipient of the dreaded call from the school nurse. "Your son has been in a fight, and we think his nose may be broken." Now, of course, me being the level-headed mom that I am, replied, "My son's been in a fight?" Well, no, he hadn't. He was trying to break up the fight, and yes, his nose was broken. And then there's my youngest. He is once again having issues with a bully, and from the stories he tells me, it sounds like his bully is a very sad kid who has to pick on others to make himself feel more powerful. Unfortunately, his need to bully others may cause them to experience depression, anxiety, and many other psychological problems, including fear. And none of those are conducive to a healthy learning environment. This problem is not just taking place in my son's school. It's taking place in schools across the nation. They're all affected on one level or another. So what can be done about it? The CDC leads many activities that help us understand and effectively prevent school violence. Some of these include School-Associated Violent Death Study, School Health Policies and Practices Study, School Health Index, and many more. However, these are just studies and surveys that help agencies know where the problems exist. But having that information in and of itself doesn't make the necessary changes in our schools, and the schools cannot do it without help from the families in the community. We've got to change the schools one child at a time, and there is something you can do. I heard a story about Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, a multi-billion-dollar company. When she met new people, she liked to picture them wearing a sign that says, "Make me feel important." And then she did. That is what we can do. Every time we see a child, we can make them feel important. It can be as complicated as becoming a big brother or big sister, or as simple as making eye contact and smiling. Most of us don't have a lot of extra time on our hands, but we all have time to smile at a teenager instead of dismissing them with a scowl, or worse yet, a suspicious glare. Kids have it hard these days. Their lives are filled with violence in every form of media, and frustrations that naturally occur in life. Is it any wonder they go to school and take out their frustration on others? It's what they've been taught. But what if we all make a concerted effort to show children of all ages that they are important? What would that do for their self-worth or self-confidence? I can see school hallways full of smiling and laughing children who feel no need to look over their backs. Classrooms will be full of attentive children following directions because they are no longer distracted by fear. Real learning will take place among students who are nice to each other. Why? Because we will have showed them how it feels to feel important, and they want others to feel it too. We see how violence in our schools is a problem. We know how small and simple things can bring to pass great things, and we can imagine what those great things will be like. A smile is free, and it doesn't take any extra time. So give one to a child today and improve their life. You never know but that by changing that one life, you may have saved another. And the life you save may be someone you love.